Alexander Ovechkin breaks Wayne Gretzky's goal record. What do you think about it?
I didn't think he would do it.
Really? Like when? At what point did you cross over to thinking, "Oh wow, looks like
this
he's
year
gonna
when
do
he
it"?
was bad, like okay, let's go 2 years ago. I'm thinking, okay, he's 38. I mean, I never really watched him that closely, but there was still like 100 or whatever goals to go, right? And I'm like, I don't know, at his age, he's going to be starting to slow down. Um, I mean, if he plays power play and he's given all these opportunities, I'm like, then maybe, but I don't know. I just didn't see it. And then last year when he started to get close, he just had to play enough games. But at the beginning of this year, I still said there's no chance he's doing it this year. Then he goes and gets 43 with a year with a broken leg. It's unbelievable. Yeah, so I would have said like I'm not on the band. No, I'm not gonna say I knew it was gonna happen. I didn't think it would.
So in the same number of games, he has one more goal than Wayne, which is wild.
And he refused, and he turned down an empty netter the other night, like the chance for an empty netter.
Yeah, I didn't want it.
That's pretty. Me and my kid were talking about that. It's like, imagine your coach throwing you out there. You go, no, I don't want to score.
Yeah, I don't want to score it on an empty netter. That's actually crazy. But so this is interesting because you obviously got to, because of how old you are. You've got to watch.
Yeah, I got to watch. I watched Jim Pieface McKenzie back in the day.
So what are some of the things that I guess maybe stand out if we stick to just the goal scoring perspective? Like, so how much more significant do you feel like Ovechkin doing it in the same number of games as Wayne Gretzky, considering the type of game that it is today versus the type of game it was back then?
See, it's easy to say that it's a better game now and goalies are better. Easy to say that. But so are sticks. Sticks are better too. So that gives a shooter an advantage. And the difference between, like, I don't know. I think it's harder to score goals in today's game. I think for sure. But Wayne Gretzky, went up the ice with three guys hooking him. Like, to score goals 20 years ago, it was a clutch and grab, and there was a red line, and there was less room, and there's a little balancing act there with part of it, like with the game. And I don't think there were shootouts. I can't even remember that. I don't think there were shootouts. I think that started after the 2000s. So I don't think those count for goals anyways. But I would say the way Ovechkin scores his goals, he's in 20. I think it's 20 or 25% of his goals are from that left dot.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about his last goal. It was right. The puck came right on the dot.
His spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, his spot.
I love that. So
iconic.
That was the mystery of him is, he's there. He's going to shoot from there, and he's going to score probably from there if he shoots. And that's where he got it. So with the amount of video and the amount of systems and the amount of you can look at how someone plays, and you can that power play is so when you're killing that power play, when he's on it, it's like it's going to him. So there's the cheat factor. He still manages to get it in the net. It's a mystery. He's just got that much of that good of a shot. Like, it's incredible. So which one's harder? I don't know. I would say it's probably harder to score a goal in this game with the equipment being lighter, the goalie's been probably bigger, the styles have changed. The percentages, on the way the goalies play shots in certain situations, your percentages go down as a player. As we said before, we showed one of the clips, or we talked about one of the clips where this episodes before we're talking about how the goalies would stand up and try to toe save. Like, that's
butterfly.
gone.
Yeah.
Right. But having said that, go back 20, 30 years and watch a game from the 80s and 90s, and you can't skate without someone sticking your nuts or in your armpit and hacking you and whacking you and face washing you. So it was different there. But having said that, I'm sure Ovi could have played in that. It'd be in 6'2", 240.
Yeah, right.
And he can skate when he has to. So, I mean, obviously it's harder to do it now, I would think.
If you go like I think the simplest way to boil it down is if you just talk about the goalies, right? Like, that's, I think, the crux of the argument of like it's harder to score goals today is based on the goalies. They're huge. The equipment's huge. There's no net. They are so efficient. They stay low. They butterfly and stuff that wasn't there before. But then I didn't really think of it in terms of the rule set itself of like when like I remember when I was a kid being able to hook guys. Like it was as long as you didn't like hold on to it, you could just touch them.
That's how you used to back check.
Yeah, you could
move your feet and just
pull
them back, tug on them,
right,
or hook them.
Yeah, and like
or slash them.
That's the 2-line pass rule. Like you can't stretch plays out. You can't so the passers weren't as good. So like how many times was Wayne Gretzky maybe in a perfect scoring opportunity, but the guy passing it to him just wasn't as good of a pass because maybe the level of skill, so there's all these different things that play into it outside of just the goalie itself. Because I always fall in the side of the argument that every era is kind of relative to itself. So
for sure.
So like
for sure.
Wayne Gretzky being so dominant, it's like that question, would Wayne Gretzky dominate in today's game? It's like, well, if Wayne Gretzky was the same way Wayne Gretzky was, but he had all the equipment, all the training, the rule set, the everything, he would probably, to me, it seems like he would be the same. He would be a dominant player in the same way that he is or was. He would have all those advantages and all that development that happens now that maybe didn't happen before. So it's like if you take him in his era and plop him in today's game, that's not the question. You can't make that comparison, right?
Okay, so this is people talk out of their ass a lot, right? So a lot of guys will promote a player or they'll talk about this player, not a great skater, but his hockey IQ is off the chart, right? Hockey IQ. He does it well or whatever, hockey IQ. So if we're going to ever use that argument, that guy had the highest hockey IQ ever in the history of the world. So, okay, so he gets to play, right? Was he the greatest skater? No, but he could skate and he had agility and he found a way to not get knocked off the pucks. And people will argue that they weren't allowed to hit him. Yeah, they were they weren't. You wouldn't go and run them, nor would you do that to Sidney Crosby or whatever. Just run them from behind like you would other guys. But Gretzky would be just fine in today's game. He might not have 215 points, but he'd be an unreal player, as would the guys from today. Go back. You can't tell me that Sidney Crosby wouldn't have been a good player in the 80s. Right. He's tough as nails. He goes in corners. He's faster than everyone, and he's brilliant, and he works on his thing. So, yeah, you're 100% right. It's translatable. Right. But nonetheless, Sidney Crosby or Ovechkin we just turned it on. We didn't have any packages to watch any NHL games at this point. Charlie comes home and goes, I want to get that game. So I asked my wife because I don't know how to turn anything on and anything that looks computer. Yeah. So she goes, yeah, we'll hook it up. So we ordered a package to get some games. Finally got it on. He was on the ice, came off. I think we saw 2 shifts. It was, and then 2-3 shifts, and it was a power play. We both said he scored on this power play, and he did right into it. Not that we're not.
It's just you're watching history, man. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was, and that's what's really cool is I actually enjoyed the night before when he got 2 goals in Washington.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It was so cool. Yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, tying the record. So what I find interesting now is maybe another element of the discussion. I want to come back to the point you just made about the level that everyone's skills are at in terms of if they're a good enough skater and whatever. So I'm going to bookmark that to come back to it in a minute. But so interesting question. We talked about this a little bit a few weeks back when this was in the news that it looks like he's probably going to break the record. And we were saying, do you put Alex Ovechkin in your top 5 all time for one of the top 5 best hockey players ever? So we were having this debate because if you look at it, he's 895 goals. Now he's all-time goal scoring leader. He's got 724 assists. So he's the leading goal scorer of all time. But if you go by points, he is 11th in points. Okay, so he's behind Joe Sakic, Crosby, Lemieux, Yzerman, Dion, Francis, Howe, Messier, Yager, and Gretzky for all-time points. So, and then obviously the defenseman at disadvantage of you're not going to get as many points when you're a defenseman. So for you, what kind of math goes into how you think about that? Like a top 5 all-time kind of thing. What do you think about how to make that decision?